Bit of an update video for you today. I haven't been doing anything for about a week because I've been ill. So some things have been going on behind the scenes. We've got nicely refurbished brake calipers that are ready to get rebuilt with a kit from Chap Service Parts. The actual car is pretty much as we left it, and as I'm speaking, it's 2 weeks until testing. So not long to go. I've done a little bit of tinkering. I've got the fuel filter mounted up under here, so that's nice and easy access to maintain. Aside from that, I've not really made any progress. So we need to start really making some chunks at it and hopefully get the car running over the next few days. I have started a little bit on some wiring, and I'm not sure if that I was doing that last time or not, but I'll give you a bit of a tour of the wiring on this car. It's got years of hacking to deal with. So I've had this wiring loom through 3 different cars. If we look into the engine bay, I've done a really nice job of tucking it all, and it's all like separated out, and the injector wiring's all tucked away. Can't see any of that. So it's all in this nice braided stuff, which is a nightmare if you need to find any faults, but it all runs down through this little bulkhead here. So wiring wise in the engine bay is pretty much complete. This is where the wiring enters the cabin, and you can see it actually goes a little bit to shit. So I've got a lot of stuff to figure out. I can't remember what any of the wires are. I can't remember how to make any of it work. A big problem is that I can't just switch it on and check if it works, because there's many things to do before we can do that. So that's going to be probably a theme of today's video. Wiring's boring to watch, but long story short, I'm pretty sure I've got that done. I think this car's going to work. I can't test it yet because there's too many things with no fluids and no things buttoned up, so we'll get that done over the weekend. It's Friday night now, so I'm thinking hopefully the car should be running by the end of the video, by the end of the weekend. I'm going to spend a bit of time buttoning up some small jobs so that everything's ready to make the car run. I'm going to get some extra hands over the weekend and hopefully get everything going. Job number 1 is to get a new CV joint on this drive shaft. The old one died a death at Cadwell Park, and one of the bearings in the actual CV, I'm not going to touch it because it's gross, one of the actual bearings just shat the bed. I've been having a real tough time because for some reason I had it in my head that J&R shafts, their CV joints didn't work, but I've ordered one anyway, and I'm hoping that everything fits. So it's this is a little bearing section that for some reason I thought didn't fit, but seems to fit good. So we'll go with that. They're always too long, these clips. They always get real snarled up on themselves. I like to trim them down so that you've got a bit less to go at. Nice and trimmed down, a bit smaller. You can see you get loads of overlap on them, so a bit less there to worry about. Alright, one done. Now we fill it with disgusting CV grease. Alright, CV joint done. First job complete. Next job is to fit this SW Motorsports heel plate that I've got. So this goes in underneath the pedals. If you've ever driven a car with no carpet before, you will understand how horrible it is when the heel gets stuck in something inconveniently placed like this. First job, get some power tools, drill some holes. Okay, done. Now tidy these holes up. Big drill fix small drill. Now vacuum. Now rib nuts. Alright, that's the floor bolted in. All looks pretty nice. Now it does come, the floor does come with this dead pedal here, but it looks really super close to the clutch pedal. I'm not sure if anyone else has got one of these, but I think it looks probably too close to the clutch pedal for me. So I'm just going to stick with the standard dead pedal here. Don't need anything that close. So I think we'll just leave it like that. Looks good to me. Ignore all this cutting and mole grips equipment. Ignore this. Yeah, don't worry about that. You're gonna get that on these jobs. Not my forte doing things nicely, unfortunately. Next job, we'll put this super blingy gear stick in. Now everybody asks me if this is a sequential gearbox. Obviously the learned among us will know that this is not a gearbox. This is just a gear stick for actually changing the gears and doesn't affect where the gears are. This is another part that I've had for years and years and years, and has been through quite a lot of K swaps and been the old faithful really. It's treated me well. That was a simple task. The cockpit is beginning to take shape, but we'll come back to that in some more depth going forward, because this is not the final form. It is going to have a dashboard. It has to, by regulation. Next little job that I'm going to have a go at is getting the exhaust manifold bolted onto the car. I'm hoping that we don't have to remove too much to put this on, but the gap that we're going to try and slot it into is quite limited. It turns out I can actually sneak it in without taking anything off at all. It's a tight squeeze, but it's in. Impressive camera work, obviously. That's it, that's in. That's in. How am I going to hold it there? Okay, manifold on. Now I need to try and bolt that up. That went easier than I thought it would. This is not exciting viewing, but the exhaust manifold is extremely tight to the subframe and the steering rack. I don't remember it being that tight up before, but it must have been, because it's the same subframe. It's only the steering rack that's changed, and I don't think they're any different in terms of size. So we've got everything sorted pretty much on the engine. I'm going to put some oil in it. I've got this belt on. That was a problem before, but I've got that on now. Going to get some vac lines put on as well, so that when we try and start the car up, it does actually run. Right, that's a couple of vac lines on and bits covered up that need to be covered up. Last little job I want to do before I call it a day is get the boots onto the steering rack that I did. So I'll do that next. Well, I'm glad I started messing about with this, because that is leaking, and that is because I did not tighten this up at all. So that's a problem found before it became a problem. I'll have to have this off again to top back up the fluid in the rack, but problem found. That was a complete pig of a job. These are really fiddly and awkward to get to, so I just filled it up, and then it's a job ticked off the list, it's done. Crap got everywhere. Luckily we've got brake cleaner. Give that a quick clean off. Clean the manifold off, because it got all over that too. Alright, everything's nice and clean, apart from this. Alright, now everything's nice and clean. Alright, that's them on. That's some boring jobs finished. I reckon this car's going to be pretty much ready to start up soon. We'll do that in a new video, hopefully where we button up all the little bits that need to be done before we can take the car testing.